This is Steve Young for the Co-Roundtable. Something to me quite shocking has just happened in the United States. Of course, in recent years, a lot of things have happened in the United States which have shocked one part of the community or the other. The times, I suppose we might say, are unsteady and uneasy. But this particular development happens to come quite close to the heart of the Co-Roundtable effort, which started years ago, really in 1986, with business leaders trying to come up with a set of standards, behavioral standards for businesses to be fair to basically stakeholders, the stakeholder theory. Then in the early 2000s, issues came up in some of our roundtables about communities, countries, environments where pressures are put on people to, what should I say, pay rents to government officials. Laws cannot be enforced. Laws can be abused. You can be sent to prison with no evidence, et cetera, et cetera. This can happen, that, because the government itself has no moral compass. It has, let's say, a power compass. So we had some discussions, people from various cultures, about, well, what's a moral framework for government? Is it either God or heaven telling the ruler what to do? Or is it democracy, where the people, with a capital P, whoever they might be, whoever mobilizes them, however well-intentioned they are, they elect somebody who says, I speak for the people, and let me tell you what to do? Or is there a framework for sort of responsible behavior? We think that framework is the concept of a public trust. That power, political power, but I would extend it even to private power. Because in business, we have this concept in the Anglo-American common law tradition, this concept of being a fiduciary, being a steward. You have power, you're a CEO, you're a board member, you're a driver for a company. But you have a task, you have responsibilities to those people who come under your power. Well, the shock I mentioned in the United States is a report by a special counsel. His name was John Durham. Some of you may have heard of him. He was appointed a long time ago, during the Trump administration, to look into the allegations from 2016 that Donald Trump, as an individual and then as a presidential candidate, was actually somehow beholden to the Russians. He was colluding with the Russians, he was something or other, and a great deal was made of this in the campaign. There was something called the Steele dossier with lots of salacious allegations. $34 million were spent with an investigation by Robert Mueller, a former head of the FBI, and he testified for Congress. At the end of the day, there was sort of nothing there. So what happened? Well, this lawyer, John Durham, was appointed to look into this as a special counsel. And on Monday of this week, this is mid-May, he released a report, some 300 pages long, which I have not read entirely, but I have read some of the conclusions, and I've sort of thought about it. And what strikes me is that his report and its moral stance aligns with the concept of public trust. What he said about the FBI, that they acted not as responsible trustees, but if you will, as politicians, as people with a prejudice, as people with their own stake in the outcome. Not the law, not fairness, not justice, but we don't like, the simplistic point is we don't like Donald Trump. We think he's a bad person. We don't want to see him as president. We're allied with and aligned with Hillary Clinton, his opponent. So let's just put this stuff out there and spread it around that he is under this nefarious hold of the Russians. So if the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, are sort of domestic in other totalitarian states, it would be the secret police, the enforcement arm of the federal government. If it cannot be trusted, if it does not deserve our trust, what are we going to do?